tea. Oh, yeah. Hello, everybody. I missed you yesterday. I'm glad to be back with you for another chance to explore yourself through the Bhagavad Gita and being who you are also. I'm out with some 4 o'clocks. They are called 4 o'clocks because they open later in the day and they close during the sunshine. Airplane. Yes, as they are doing now. And I'm out here because this is very near to my neighbors and they've got all their windows closed because there was a wonderful rain last night. So I can be spiritual without people going, "What you doing?" Okay. So first off, I want to dedicate today's practice to a few different people. One is to Beth. Happy birthday on the 25th. And I'm doing this because I understand sometimes people listen later in the day. And I want Beth to hear this a day ahead. So in case she listens later in the day, she carries that momentum to have a whole wonderful birthday where she knows we're thinking of her. So here's to you, Beth. Also, everyone in Phoenix, Arizona, where it is currently 94 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is 34 degrees Celsius at 5 something in the morning. I cannot, well, that's pretty hot. So I'm thinking of you. I know there have been a lot of heat-related incidents and deaths there. So we're sending our support. And also I'm dedicating this today to Cleveland because it's day 216. That's the area code of Cleveland. There are many, many things I love about Cleveland. And one is that it is not 94 degrees Fahrenheit or 34 degrees Celsius at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Oh gosh, please. So I'm so grateful for that, and I'm so grateful for you. And another thing I'm grateful for, Sunday was Guru Purnima. This past Sunday was Guru Purnima, the full moon of the Guru. And in the West, there can be a great misunderstanding about what a guru is, and that word can be used extremely casually, like, oh, that person can play the clarinet well, they're a clarinet guru, or my cat, I watch it nap, it's my relaxation guru. I mean, anything can be a guru. So, for example, these 4 o'clocks here, they're starting to produce seeds now. So, for me, on the topic of karma, these are wonderful examples of karma, the law of karma. One way of looking at it is whatever seeds you plant now, that's what grows. And then it produces more seeds. So, for example, if I plant loving thoughts in the world, then loving things appear and produce more seeds of love. If I plant negativity in the world, negative things crop up and create more seeds of negativity. And we can go a bunch more in depth, but we don't have time for that today. But that can be a guru. A person can be a guru. It takes a special person. In Samkhya philosophy, it said that guru is an element that exists everywhere, but some people have more of it than others. And with yesterday's adventure that I couldn't be here with you, and I did do my practice in a very interesting place right outside a medical building between a parking lot and a busy street, but I did it. The reactions of some folks was so interesting to me, like, couldn't you leave something else for us, something special for that day? And I thought, I've been doing this for 200 some days, and if you've been joining, as I know some of you have for most or all of those days, hopefully you have an idea of the practice, because I'm pretty darn sure that once this year ends, I'm not going to continue, because it takes actually a lot more time than you might think to put this together. It takes about an hour a day to do all the setup and the processing of the video and putting it on. So what's going to happen when this ends? Are you going to go, I have no external source of support for my practice and it's going to fall apart? Or are you going to find an internal support? Krishna in Bhagavad Gita Hey, I love the Bhagavad Gita. He represents the ideal guru, and how he behaves with Arjun can inform all of us who are either looking for spiritual leadership or are wondering, are we spiritual leaders? So, for example, one of the things Krishna does is he never directly tells Arjun, you must do this. He always presents options and says, here are your options, Arjun. He can even recommend options, but he doesn't explicitly say in many parts of the Gita, you have to do this. It's always, if you can do this, do this. It's great, but if you can't, do this. And if you can't do that, do this. Okay? So it's a lot of options. And in the Mahabharata, the source material of the Gita, Krishna spends time with Arjun, but not all the time. He has his own kingdom to run. So he'll spend time with Arjun and then he'll go. He's not spending every single day moderating Arjun's every behavior. The idea is he instills Arjun with a good example and good guidelines, and then Arjun has to do his own work. So, considering that, because so many times, I'm sure you've heard of people with the title of gurus in various spiritual traditions or religions abusing that power. And how do we avoid the abuse that can come? How do we, and it's not just the outer abuse, but then we blame ourselves sometimes. Why didn't I see that? How did I put up with that? How could I have done that just because somebody told me to do it? So, another thing to remember is that in the Gita, Arjun represents our limited idea of ourselves, and Krishna is still ourself. He's our innermost self, the innermost. So, we can get help from outer gurus, but ultimately, what gets us to the end is making the connection to and relying upon the inner wisdom that we all have and that will sustain us even when it seems like there's nothing outward that can guide us. So I encourage you to consider that today. We'll do our practice. I will have to move this a little so that you don't just see me from the waist down and you can still see the beautiful flower gurus here. Ah, flowers. All right, let's do our balance pose. Listen within. I'm doing something and you can watch and try it, but listen within. Does it work for you? Let's switch. All right. We'll snuggle back into our friends here. Yeah, you can see the gladiolas coming out. Roses. It's just wonderful here, in my opinion. Let's spend the next 5 minutes. So, an outer guru is often necessary, like a mirror, to reflect back to us what we're doing until we kind of get on our feet. But remember, ultimately, the transition will be to the inner wisdom. The next 5 minutes, can you access some inner wisdom? You can even consider a challenge in your life. You can notice what your ego says about that, but what does your innermost self say? Can you get there? Let's find out. 5 minutes. Whoa, not an hour. 5 minutes. Come on back. I found that to be the perfect lesson today for what I experienced. I don't know if you could hear, but during the meditative practice, a dog named Maverick got loose and his person was running around trying to corral Maverick. I watched my little self was like, you must go help. You must go see if Maverick's tearing up your gladiolas or your roses. You And then the inner self said, this is perfect practice. Seeming chaos. If you're meant to deal with it, it'll still be there when you're done. And it resolved itself. So thank you, inner guru, for speaking up. And thank you to myself for listening. May you have opportunities to listen to that inner guru, and may you take advantage of those with your wisdom. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Until then.